Imagine you're getting a new dog. I'm sure a lot of you have or may have had pets in the past and know the great joy they bring into the family. You go online in search of your new companion. A lot of websites pop up. You may see breeder advertisements, dog shelter sites, or even Craigslist offers. But what do you choose? I would like to briefly tell you why, in my opinion, adopting a shelter dog is the best option. And trust me, I know a lot about the subject. We have had a couple shelter dogs in our family, but also some purebred sassy ones. That is actually her when I was preparing this speech. In the next few minutes, I will talk about how adoption saves dogs' lives, how it limits backyard breeder profits, why a shelter dog's love is easier to win over, and I will also mention some health concerns that prospective owners may have. Firstly, let's talk about saving dogs from death and homelessness. According to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, approximately 3.1 million dogs enter American shelters each year. 2 million of them are adopted, and around 700,000 are returned to their owners. But what happens with the rest? Giving shelter to those animals requires a lot of work and money. And unfortunately, these resources tend to run out. Due to that, a lot of shelter dogs are euthanized. According to the ASPCA, the number almost reaches 400,000 each year. By adopting, we are saving those animals from preventable death and giving them a home they deserve. Next up, how adoption limits profits of backyard breeders. As the RSPCA defines it, backyard breeding is the irresponsible breeding of animals in inadequate conditions with insufficient care, often by people with little experience or knowledge. In this case, you may be wondering, if they sound so bad, why would anybody buy dogs from them? The answer is related to unawareness. If you ever went to their advertisement sites, they would look spotless. Also, the transaction would most probably take place away from the rooms where the other animals are kept. The Lee family, for example, whose experience was described in a CBS article, found their breeder on Facebook and met with them in a McDonald's parking lot. They later came to know their puppy was deadly sick because of unadministered vaccinations. A way to limit this cruel treatment of animals is to adopt dogs from shelters, which decreases the demand of backyard breeders that they crave so much. Now, let's talk about how shelter dogs' love is easy to win over. This is Ami. In the first few weeks after we adopted him, he was anxious a lot. He did not want to go up the stairs or go outside in case he was left there. As time went by, he became calmer and now is one of the most loving dogs I've ever met. A study on the behavior of dogs after adoption conducted by Bachland et al. Showed that 93% of owners decided to keep their dogs 6 months post-adoption, and all of them were satisfied with their new companion's behavior. It also explained how behavioral issues at the early stages after rehoming may be caused by the pet's lack of trust related to past traumas. However, as the dogs realized the new environments were safe, they devoted big amounts of love and gratitude to their new owners. Lastly, I will talk about some health concerns pet owners may have. In an article for the Washington Post, Auerbach described how after having adopted a couple shelter dogs in the past and them having health issues, she decided to buy her next puppy from a breeder. This is a very reasonable argument, since when adopting from a licensed breeder, one can access a long history of previous medical records and look into the possible health issues a specific breed may be in danger of. Nevertheless, it is important to note that every dog is different and nothing is ever certain. In conclusion, there are a lot of arguments in favor of dog adoption. The ones I mentioned regard the death and homelessness prevention, limiting backyard breeder profits, and the amazing gratitude adopted dogs give their owners. If you do decide on adopting, this site is an amazing tool for searching for a new companion. It is called petfinder.com. I also mentioned how some people may be opposed to taking in shelter dogs into their homes due to health concerns. In spite of all these arguments, it is important to note that whatever source you choose, owning a dog is a big responsibility and should be taken seriously. So, what do you choose?